Yeah, I want to welcome everybody into the Sarah Wetzman Davidson Hospital Tower, the fifth floor, Hadassah and Kerem. And here I have the privilege of sitting here with the patient, Michal Alon. We talk a lot about heroism in Israel, and we think of Israelis. There's so much heroism, but heroism comes in different ways. And I'm sitting near a great heroine, and I feel very privileged to do that. I want to tell you that a little about Michal Alon. She is indeed a graduate of our School of Nursing. She's a nurse. She spent 10 years in our pediatric oncology ward, not an easy ward, dealing with children with grave disease, cancer, and others. And she is now a regional nurse. And in addition to her regular working life, she and her husband like to reach out. They were emissaries for a few years in Uruguay, but now that she's back in Israel, in addition to her working life, they go to army bases to help soldiers have a better time on Jewish holidays. And there they were in Simchat Torah on an army base called Zikim. Michal, her husband, and 8 of her 10 children all came down in order to make this holiday a holiday for all these soldiers away from home. They had a wonderful time, went to bed, and she woke up in the morning to an absolutely new and horrific reality. So, Michal,
I hope my English will be okay. I will try and tell it loudly. We woke up in the base, the Kim. I woke up at 6:20. I don't sleep so tight, and I woke up from a boom that I heard, and then I thought to myself, how could it be? They're not exercising. We're there. I know there are 100 and something soldiers, and then it's Shabbat. I didn't think they'd do something, and then 10 minutes after that, 5 minutes, I started hearing an alarm, a Tseva Adom, the alarm that says that we're being fired shootings. I woke up everybody. I told my husband, "No way, you have to get up." And the kids get up fast, get dressed, because I don't know what's happening, but maybe we can't stay here. I don't know if we are in a sheltered place. We slept in a room of soldiers with bunk beds, and I didn't know if it's enough sheltered. And my husband tried calling the rabbi that we switched with him this Shabbat. We wanted to help him and be with the soldiers, and he said, "I will find out." And then came very fast another soldier. He told us, "What are you doing here? You have to come fast. You have to go into the migunit, into the place where we took all the soldiers there." And so we came with him. We ran into the migunit, and there we were. I thought it would be like 2 hours of Teva Adom, or there's alarms, and then it will be over and we'll go home, or we'll stay there at the end of Shabbat or whatever. But it didn't pass. We heard a lot of shootings, and the commanders kept going away. They called them for other places, and they didn't come back. And suddenly they said they have a soldier, a woman soldier, that fell from one of the places she was there, and she was injured. And they're bringing her to this miguni, to this place, but they didn't bring her in. And I told them, "Listen, I'm a nurse." And I told my husband and my kids, I will go help her, see if I can do something. I'm not a trauma nurse, but I can see what I can help, maybe wash her and see what I can do.
Michal, if I just maybe explain that migunit is the Hebrew word for a protective structure. So they were all in the protective structure, and the wounded soldier, who we later to find out was wounded, who hadn't had a fall, she fell when she was wounded, was outside. So you decided to leave the security, the relative security of the protective building, and to go out and to try to help this wounded soldier. Is that a hard decision?
No, didn't have a doubt. I didn't think about it. It was obvious that I will go and see if I can do something. So I went, and then I saw her, and I understood that she's very, very injured. She had a head injury. All her eye was out, popped out, and she had a lot of blood. And I didn't understand if she just fell. What is that? I didn't know she was shot. But I tried helping her. She really, really wanted to. She said, "I have my headache is exploding. My head is exploding, and I really have to go to the bathroom." So I said to the soldiers that were trying to help me, 2 or 3 soldiers, you know what? Let's take her a little bit far away here, in the not so far, like half a meter, and put her in this room next to the shelter place, so she can lie down, and we can see if I can help her. And then she urinated, and she felt much, much better, and she was sleeping there. And I told her, let's clean you, and I looked for some cloth and water to try and clean her. And then I had the soldiers standing in the entrance of where we were, this like bunk beds, or like we slept in. And suddenly there were shootings, and I saw him fall. He was shot, and he fell. I'm sorry. I'm okay. This is he was shot, and he fell into the room, and he couldn't breathe. And the soldiers asked me, "Can we help him?" I said, "I don't think so," because his head was shot. He was full of blood. And then we looked at each other. We didn't know what to do. And a couple of seconds later came another soldier who was in the entrance, and I thought he came to help. But when I looked closer, I saw that something is different. Thank you. He was he wasn't young like all the soldiers, and he looked me in the eye, and in a second he pulled up his gun, and he shot me in my hand and in my stomach and in my chest.
If it's not clear, it wasn't an Israeli soldier. It was a Hamas
A terrorist.
terrorist wearing the clothing and wearing the uniform of an Israeli soldier, so that he was dressing to penetrate that army base.
Yeah. And after he shot me, I thought, what can I do? I felt my hand hanging. It wasn't at his place, and I knew I was bleeding very hard. So I took my kisur rosh, my
Her
mitpachat,
bandana,
my
yes,
bandana, and I put it around my hand so I can stop the bleeding and make a chosem roki,
a tourniquet.
tourniquet. And then I went back to the sheltered place. I tried taking myself there. I fell at the entrance of the sheltered place, and they called my husband. They said, your wife is wounded. They took me in, and I sat there. I waited for a rescue, someone that will take me, an ambulance that will take me. Told my husband, we have to be evacuated. I need a hospital. I know I'm bleeding from all sorts of places. My husband, which is a very gentle person and he can't see a scratch. He took all sorts of clothing of the soldiers around, and he pushed on my bleeding places. And we sat there for about 3 hours until someone could come and take us out. It was a military ambulance that took us out of there. We decided in seconds that my husband will come with me, and the children, which were 8 children, but the biggest one, the eldest, was 20 years old and 17 years old, and so they could stay together.
Michal, I think you told me that one of the things you tried, and while you were suffering was to put on a show for your children, so they shouldn't be frightened that their mother, so that you had even gave a pacifier to your 1.5-year-old, right? So that they wouldn't be terrified, because what was in your mind at the time was,
they saw me bleeding.
My children, they see their mother bleeding.
Yeah, they were. I was very scared about what will happen to them after seeing all of this and see me bleeding there. So I tried smiling to them and saying, "I'm okay. It's okay. I'm okay. Abba is here. He's with me." And I think they they were okay. They helped. They wanted to ask me if I want water, if other soldiers that were injured want water. They were okay.
And then you were evacuated first to one hospital and then another, and then your injuries were so complex that you had to be brought here to Hadassah. But everybody wants to know, who's on this call, what about your children? What about your husband? What about that young soldier who you took care of, who you risked your life to save her life?
So I must say I was so happy to hear that this young soldier also was brought here to Hadassah and the neurosurgeon.
The neurosurgery department.
Yes, and she's getting better. She's alive. Baruch Hashem, she wasn't conscious when the terrorist came into the room, so he didn't think he should shoot her or he has to do something else because she looked so bad. So he didn't do anything else. So she's alive and she's here and she reacted and she's much better. She's getting better every day. I have her parents came to me. Her father is a doctor here in the hospital. And they came to speak to me how she was and what she said. And I told them she's amazing. She was so strong.
Well, I think they think you're amazing too, because you saved their daughter's life. And I've been up and down, and then I'm passing regards, and they're all waiting to see. We're all waiting to see you get together again with her. And so I know that you're undergoing a lot of surgery here at Hadassah, that you were sent here because of the specialists that we have in reconstructing your arm. And that we think probably though is a sign of a kind of a graduation. You're moving here tomorrow morning from Hadassah to Hadassah, from Hadassah in Kerem to Hadassah Mount Scopus, where you will begin the really, really important rehabilitation. And everybody on the call will be very glad to hear, as I will report back to you, on how I'm sure that you will improve, Be'ezrat Hashem, with God's help, and with the help of the professional staff, and with the support of all the people here on this call and all over the world who are rooting for you and are just in awe of your heroism. And we're so grateful. Just a note for Sai that when she's in camp, Michal has an identical twin sister who's a midwife there in Hadassah Mount Scopus, and I'm sure that she'll have a lot of family time there in between wonderful births and be able to share. Sitting behind us is her wonderful mother, also a nurse. And we have just a remarkable family. So we thank you all. Here's her mom coming together. You can imagine what it was for her mom to go through this story. And we all feel she's part of our family. So for everyone listening, thank you so much. And a Shabbat Shalom from Jerusalem, from Hadassah Hospital, from a hospital bed in the Sarah Wetzman Davidson Hospital Tower, for the most remarkable young woman you'll ever want to meet.
Thank you.